Sure, solving an equation with a fractional exponent, it can be intimidating, but stick with me through this video. I got two examples for you, and by the end of it, you'll feel confident enough to explain it to somebody else. All right, we're gonna treat this problem no differently than we would 4x minus 3 equals 61. You could solve that. You've been doing it since your early days of algebra, and even before that probably. So we're gonna get rid of the constant, then we gotta get rid of the coefficient, and I will teach you that new step of how do we get rid of this 4/3, this fractional exponent. That's what this video is all about. So let's start with what we already know. We would know how to solve this two-step equation if it was linear, but now we got a fractional exponent up here, so we got a few extra steps involved. Okay, so we're gonna do the opposite of subtracting 3, we're gonna add 3, that'll cancel. We're gonna add 3 over here, that's gonna give me 64. I know right away I like 64 because it's gonna divide nice and neat by 4. So next step is get rid of the coefficient, divide by 4, divide by 4. X is to the 4/3 power is equal to 64 divided by 4, which is gonna give me 16. Okay, so now, how do I get rid of that? X to the 4/3. Well, you remember how we get rid of fractional coefficients? If I had 4/3 x equals something, 10, we would just multiply by the reciprocal, 3/4. That 3 will cancel that 3, that 4 will cancel that 4, leaving me with just x. We're basically doing that exact same thing. We just got to use our power properties. Okay, so we're going to raise this to another power so they multiply together. So we're going to say parentheses around it all. Get the reciprocal of 4/3, which is just flipping it to 3/4. The 3 on top cancels the 3 on bottom. The 4 on top cancels the 4 on bottom. And voila, we have x all alone. Okay, so remember, we have to do that same thing we did over here on the left side. We got to do it on the right side. So we need to take 16 and put it to the power of 3/4. So 16 to the power of 3/4. Now, what we know is when we have a fractional exponent with a value as a base, is we can turn this into 4th root of 16 to the power of 3. So we're going to take the 4th root of 16. What number times itself 4 times gives me 16. That's going to be a 2. So x is now equal to 2 because the 4th root of 16 is 2. But we still have to put it to the power of 3. What's 2 times 2 times 2? Well, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So our final answer here, x is going to be equal to 8. All right, let me erase this, get one more problem going for you so that you guys can break this down and have a strong understanding. And maybe stick along or maybe stick with me on this one. Work through it as I'm going through it. See if you're doing the exact same steps I am. It's going to be a very similar problem to this. So just give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. So now we've got 4x to the 2/9 power plus 17 equals 53. Again, let's get rid of the constant, then we'll get rid of the coefficient, and then we can worry about getting rid of that exponent that's a fraction. Gross. Minus 17, what's that going to take me all the way back down to? 36. So we got 36 is equal to 4x to the 2/9 power, 4x to the power of 2/9. Okay, let's divide by 4 to cancel that coefficient, divide by 4. Now I've got x to the power of 2/9 is equal to 36 divided by 4, which we all know is 9. Okay, how did we get rid of this guy on the last one? We raised it to the power of the reciprocal. So we take 2/9 and we turn it into 9/2. So let's raise that to 9/2. That will cancel immediately, leaving you with just x. What did we do on the left? We raised it to the power of 9/2. So we need to take 9 and raise it to the power of 9/2. Now we know that we can rewrite this in our radical. We can take the bottom number, the denominator, put it right there. This is just a square root. No really reason to write the 2 in. We could just erase that and leave it empty because whenever it's empty right there, we know that we're dealing with a square root versus a cube root or a 4th root. Okay, so we're taking the square root of 9 and then having to raise that to the power of 9. So what is the square root of 9? That's 3. And we need to raise 3 to the 9th power. So let me just go grab a quick tool. 3 to the power of 9. It's going to give me 19,683. 19,683. 683. Let me just double check and make sure I wrote that down. We are good to go, baby. You now know how to solve equations where they throw a fraction up there. How messed up of them? How could they do that to us? Well, now you can show them that you know business. All right, study hard and good luck on your upcoming test.